What's going on, guys? I have a 2024 Ram 2500 and a 2025. Now if you don't know, Ram did go to glow plugs for the 2025 plus trucks. First time that they've done this. They've always had that pesky grid heater, and obviously there's some pros and cons to both sides of it, but let's go ahead and get started. It's about, let's see here, it's supposed to be a high of 30 today, but these trucks have been sitting, and let's see, it is in Sandy, Utah, 35 degrees, so it's not super cold. And I did this on purpose because once it gets down into the teens, I want to try to come back and do the exact same thing. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Now if you are in the market for a truck too, you guys see right there, Larry H. Miller, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram here in Sandy, Utah. This 2024's got to go, so you can text the number here if you would like to purchase it. Let's go ahead and start with glow plugs first. These trucks are sitting right next to each other. This is a perfect video. I'm sure the truck won't be here when I do this in the future though, so I'll have to probably pull a used truck. Now this is my first time actually testing this out too, so there's the icon right here. And as you guys see, truck starts right up. You hear that? Okay, so it's already going to do the idle up for you automatically. Now if you want to do it off of the truck here, let's see, you can do it manually using the cruise control. You guys see the oil pressure too? So the truck kind of started right up, and it's 36 degrees. This truck's just been sitting here, and there's a little bit of snow on some of the trucks still. You can see some of the ice right here. Let's go ahead and go over to the other truck here. So this one is the 2024. So this is gonna have the grid heater. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So let's see how long it takes. I'm gonna put it in run position, saying diesel preheat and process. You can still see the icon there. So this one was a little bit longer, not much. And what do you know? Oh, it's doing it again actually. But the battery's dead, unfortunately. And that's why this one took a little bit longer. But let's go ahead and jumpstart this truck so we can get it all charged. The truck just started up, and because of the dead battery, I'll have to probably drive around a lot here for a little bit, but all in all, the grid heater does take a little bit more time compared to the glow plugs. So let's go ahead and take the truck for a quick drive, and I want to discuss a few things with you guys. Obviously, if you're new to diesels, or maybe you've had the grid heater all your life and now you're kind of figuring out, are the glow plugs better? Let's discuss that here. Early on, I was really happy to see Ram get away from the grid heater, simply because it's had known issues, right? You had that bolt that would break off and potentially take out either cylinder number 5 or 6. Sometimes you get lucky if you caught it early enough. Sometimes the bolt would just sit inside the intake manifold, but 9 times out of 10 that engine was going to get taken out, and this is a $20,000 repair because you have to replace the entire engine when that happens. So it pretty much fixes that going to glow plugs, because you don't have those grids and the restriction that the grid heater had in the boost tubes, as I call it. So I like the idea of Ram going with the glow plugs in regards to those two issues, because the 2025 plus Rams do feel a lot more responsive, and I'm willing to bet you it's because that boost is able to come on a lot quicker, and obviously other factors too. But the downside to the glow plugs is really you have 5 more things that can fail versus just the one thing, right? And I've owned the GMC through 2 pretty extreme winter times. I've had a Ram truck for about 4 years, 3 years, excuse me. Had it for 3 years. And I had it through some pretty extreme winter times too. So glow plugs are going to heat the combustion a lot quicker compared to the grid heater. It's just factual. I think it took one time almost 45 seconds, almost, to actually heat the combustion up to start the engine. We're driving the 2025 now, and I want you guys to see that oil pressure, right? That's something to consider. I do have the iDash Pro, and I recommend you add that in. That way you can see that oil pressure along with all your other temperatures. You want to take it easy when these trucks are cold. Now you have an option to use the 5W40. This truck's going to have the 10W30 oil. If it gets down past 0 degrees, that's when they do recommend you start looking at that 5W40. I recommend plugging in your truck whenever possible. I plug my truck in at around 40 degrees. I know people will say that's unnecessary, but you don't have to plug it in all night. You can just plug it in for 30-45 minutes before you leave, and that should be enough for you guys. But oil pressure's at 54. We're not warm at all, so it's still pretty cold. And I'll let you guys see. You can see the coolant right there. That's the oil pressure on the right side. You can change those gauges as well. Let's see if probably won't let me do it while I'm driving. But I do recommend monitoring your oil pressure, because as the oil starts to flow through, it starts to heat up. That oil pressure drops probably by about half or so, down to about 32 psi. But having the glow plugs, if you're not used to having glow plugs, I believe these Cummins now will just start up without them. So make sure you go through the process of preheat. On the 24 and earlier trucks, when you try to start it, it wouldn't allow you to. That grid heater had to heat up the combustion enough for it to start. With these, it'll just keep cranking. So I don't know if that's the case. I'm not going to try it, but if anyone out there wants to chime in, it looks like it doesn't have the countdown like it does on the 24 and earlier. That's why I'm coming to that conclusion. But yeah, I think that having the glow plugs do make it a lot easier to start in colder climate. And that's just based off of my experience with having, 2 GMCs with the glow plugs. And my Ram would take a good bit of time when it was really, really cold. So hopefully this year we get some really cold days and I can come back and I can maybe go to GMC, go to Ford, and maybe go to Ram to show you guys startup times. So you guys see the oil pressure now? It's actually below 30 psi. So the truck right next to me, see, it's idling up actually here. But yeah, it was below 30 psi, and that's simply because of the temperature of the oil now. It's right at about 140 degrees there. So let's go ahead and pop the hoods. Is there any maintenance in regards to these glow plugs and grid heater? So here's the biggest negative to glow plugs. Most people don't know this, but glow plugs are wearable items. In other words, they're not technically covered under your factory warranty, just like spark plugs are not covered. Same thing goes for tires. Tires are not covered. The only way those items can get covered is if they are defective, right? So if you have that 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty and your glow plugs do wear out, it's very possible Ram can deny replacing those because they're considered wearable items. Now, if they were to fail, then you would have a leg to stand on to have them replace the failed components. But defects and workmanship is what's covered under your factory warranty. So just keep that in mind. And that's the nice thing about having the grid heater. And I'm not sure why Ram went this route, because you guys know I've done a lot of videos around the Monster Ram intake. The Monster Ram intake is probably one of the greatest upgrades you can do to any Cummins diesel 2024 and earlier, simply because it gets rid of all the issues that this elbow has right here. You get rid of that bolt that can break off, and you basically get better airflow because they increase the volume of air. Also, their heating elements are just so much better compared to what Ram has done for both of these trucks, the grid heater and those glow plugs. I'm not sure why they did not reach out to Gale Banks and figure out a solution. And hopefully in the future, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but hopefully Gale Banks will come out with a solution for not only just the Cummins equipped trucks, but even for the Duramaxes and PowerStrokes to have, you know, a delete kit for the glow plugs, because that's something I would like to see in the future, because as soon as it's available, I'm going to add it to my truck. It's absolutely happening, simply because you do understand that glow plugs can take out your engine too. I actually wasn't able to show it to you guys, but when I was at the GMC store, you guys know Brian, he actually replaced a Duramax, and unfortunately one of the glow plugs failed shortly after, taking out the engine. So I guess, you know, the glow plugs are ceramic, right? They have like ceramic tips, and I think the piston hit the glow plug and then it exploded and it just took out the engine. So the whole engine had to be replaced. So that's why I'm really concerned about glow plugs now, because of that happening. Now granted, that truck was about 7 years old. Yeah, 7 years old I believe it was. Had just under 100,000 miles on it, so it wasn't even quite a I mean, I would consider that still pretty new for the most part, especially for a diesel truck. And it had that failure. So it's just, again, for the Duramaxes, you have 8 glow plugs. You have 8 things that could fail. So if they do come out with a delete kit for the glow plugs and just use their heating elements that they use for the Monster Ram intake, I'm definitely going that route, because it would be nice to be able to have something a little bit more robust for heating, and I think that those heat a lot better compared to the grid heater and the glow plugs. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, I wanted to show you guys how quickly those glow plugs do heat the combustion compared to the grid heater. It is better in regards to that, but we'll see what happens when the temperatures are down to like what, 15 degrees, and maybe when it's snowing outside, that might also be another factor to keep it from heating as quickly. So stay tuned for that. I think that Ram has still some great opportunities to make the Cummins one of the best engines, and I think going away from these glow plugs in the next generation of Ram Cummins would be the solution.